Fusion World Set 4 Ultra Limit cards are already here, and the digital version will be updated literally days from when I'm recording this video. So what I want to do is I want to put out some deck ideas that I have for the new leaders that you may want to test out once you get a hold of the cards yourself. I will add that although I've tested these decks, I haven't been able to test them as thoroughly as I would want to because of work and things like that. And these are just kind of a draft version of each of these decks. These aren't my final builds. Obviously, the builds will probably change once I'm able to actually do more testing, and also seeing what some of the top players are able to pull out during like regional tournaments and whatnot. If you do enjoy this video, consider leaving a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, consider subscribing to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. We're nearly at 100 subs. It'll be cool to hit that before the end of 2024, which is like a month and a half away. So yeah, we're starting off with UI Goku. Now this is the deck I have come up with. Overall, UI Goku is actually quite a good leader. His effect is actually very strong. You want to play this kind of defensively, similar to Jiren. You're trying to stall your awakening as much as possible, because once you flip, you're not able to draw on your flip side. But going through some of the cards, we've got Shin, one of probably the best one-drops outside of Pilaf. Those are top 3 cards. Any Universe 7 card, add it to your hand. Our Universe 7 cards that we have is Whis, Piccolo. We've got this set 2 Gohan, I believe. You're set 2, right? Yep, set 2 Gohan. We've got Vegeta, we've got Android 17. We have the Frieza card here. And we have both our Double Striker and our Secret Rare Goku, both of which we're playing the 3 of. Now, obviously, these numbers may change. Some of these cards may not be in my final version. But I think 3 of 3 is fine. I don't think you need 4 UI. You can get away with 2. I just went with 3 to add a little bit more consistency. We also have this our super combo, which is new to the set, which also has the Universe 7 tag, and Shin will actually search out your super combo. It's the first one-drop battle card that can search out a super combo. We do have other searchers that get you super combos, but those are extra cards. For example, the Spaceship of Hope for black can search your super combos. And then we have Rumshi here as well. Great for removal, and obviously an additional 10k. And then we have the extra cards, which is God Kamehameha, also to help get rid of big bodies. Now, oh, and we also have Shin. I shouldn't forget about Shin. Shin is a great card. I'm not sure if it's as needed in this particular deck, but I'm going to try it in this deck anyway because of how good this card is. As long as you swing with a 25k power card, battle card that is, doesn't count for your leader, this card will minus any battle card in the field by 5k. And this isn't once per turn, this will keep going. So for example, if for whatever reason you had Shin on the board and you played Kefla into Gohan, whilst awakened, Kefla swings for 25k, Gohan swings for 25k, Shin will swing for 25k. So you've minus a card 15k based on that alone, and then Gohan also minuses 15k by himself. That's 30,000 power that you've been able to minus on a single turn, right? Obviously, that's like an ideal scenario, but you kind of get the idea. We have our Caulifla Self-Awaken. It's just a great 2-drop. I mean, yeah, probably one of the best true 2-drops that Red has. Back in set 1, we used to play Hit a lot with Caulifla, but now Hit's kind of fallen off a bit, but Caulifla stayed. I think the fact that it's a crit is just so good. Yeah, a Self-Awaken crit is just amazing. Now, Android 17, I've tried out in this list. I honestly believe that playing Tournament of Power Arena is actually better than playing this card, overall. I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. Android 17 can give your UI Goku 5k power consistently, right? Leaving your Goku, at least on the front side, as a 20k. As long as this card stays in the field, it will always be a 20k. The problem is, a 3-drop is very easy to remove. And unless you're awakened, this card, when you're awakened, this card can't be KO'd. But the idea of playing UI Goku is that you want to stay on your front side for as long as possible so you can keep drawing. So I honestly think I have 2 copies of this in this version. I think once set 4 comes to the digital version, I'll probably cut this card completely. I have 2 copies, I'll cut both of them, and I'll probably add the Tournament of Power Arena field cards instead, at least 2 of them to replace it. But yeah, for this version, I have 2 of Android 17. But yeah, that's the red list. Now, also, something to mention, if you guys have any ideas or suggestions to improve any of the decks I'm going to mention, please let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to read them and help me kind of refine these decks. Let's move on to a Gohan. Okay, so this is my Gohan list. Now, I'll be honest, this was probably the hardest deck for me to make in terms of deck building. I feel like there's two ways you can go about this. I think this deck could actually play more than 50 cards. Normally, most decks you only want to play 50 cards. It helps with the consistency of being able to get the cards that you need. But I believe that you might be able to get away with going with 60 cards in this deck. I'm playing like your mill, a lot of mill cards, like the one-drop Kibito that came out in this set, which will mill 3 cards from top of your deck. And there might be other cards that do have similar effects. I think one of the problems, I thought Gohan would be quite strong coming into this new set, but as I've tested this deck, I've kind of come up to the conclusion that Gohan isn't going to fare well. I think there's cards missing for this particular archetype. There needs to be cards that activate their effects when they're sent specifically from the deck to the drop. I think we need cards. I think those are the type of cards that we do need for Gohan. And to be clear, it's not from the hand to the drop, but specifically from the deck to the drop. Which means that cards that mill will become that much more valuable, like the Kibito. I think that will serve this leader quite well, having those type of effects. I mean, it may be a bit of an issue because if, for example, you play Kibito turn 1 and you're able to drop a really strong effect straight away, it's kind of polarizing. But it depends on how you make the cards, right? But that's my idea to make Gohan a bit of a better leader. I think it struggles against everyone. Yellow, I played with a yellow deck, in fact a blue deck, which I'll show next, into a Gohan and completely overpowered him. Like, it wasn't even close. Yeah, this is the list I've come up with. Now we have a full set of Pan. This card is great for Gohan, being able to draw 2 and then discard 2. If you don't know, Gohan kind of relies on, or the deck relies on having cards in your drop, at least 10, so you can activate your effects. Pan is a great enabler of that. Play this on turn 1, you already have 2 cards in your drop, and you can always discard cards that you don't really need. For example, we're playing, in this version, I have a full set of Vegeta, the new SCR, for set 4. If you were to play Pan and you had Vegeta in your hand, you can easily discard it because you can play it off of this Vegeta here, or off of the Overwhelming Confidence extra card. So yeah, even though you could also drop this 4-drop Gohan into your drop, which you can bring back, same with the Gotenks, you can bring back with the Amazing Potential, or Amazing Hidden Potential card as well. We're running 4 Pilaf because Pilaf is the best, well, is it the best card in the game? It's the best 1-drop in the game. Yeah, Pilaf is still insane, hasn't been limited, hasn't been banned. So this is still, every blue card plays this. Every blue deck plays this card. Right, it's just so good. Maybe not Goku Black, but every other blue deck, yeah, plays this. We have 4 of the 1-drop Goten. It's a 10k combo. I think this for blue is going to be the most important card of this set. Also have a full set of Trunks as well. But the Goten is able to bounce 2 drops. One of the new cards in set 4 for black is a 2-drop Trunks, which I will show you later on. But that card literally makes it impossible to remove the Secret Rare Goku or any other black card whilst Trunks is on the field. So if your opponent plays a Trunks on turn 2, you really want to use this Goten to bounce it back. And then they have to play it again, which disrupts their tempo and whatnot. I think for blue, this Goten is one of the most important cards you're going to want to play, especially into black. I mentioned the 4 Trunks. Obviously, these 2 will be recycled through Gotenks rather. You might want to play more Gotenks, I'm not too sure. I haven't really decided on the exact numbers I want to run. Like I said, this deck is kind of hard for me to gauge on how to build. We're running 4 copies of the Vegeta. Now, this could get cut. I mean, it's a good card, 10k combo. When you have 10 or more cards in your drop, it becomes a 25k. And on play, it mills for you. It mills 1 on play, right? So it's a good card. I'm not sure how valuable it will be. Maybe it gets cut for something else, but the fact that it's a 10k combo and it has a decent effect, we're just running it for now. We're running 4 of Pan to recycle 4 of Pan. We're running 4 of Videl to recycle our Pan, our Pilaf, our Goten, our Trunks. Any of these get recycled off of this Pan, which is great. It can also recycle this 3-drop Gohan on play if you have 10 or more cards in your drop, out to 1 extra with both Saiyan and Earthling and special traits from your drop to your hand. So if for whatever reason you end up milling any of these extra cards down here, which we'll explain in a bit. This Gohan is great for bringing those back, and it can be brought back with Videl if you need it. Obviously, we have 2 4-drops, or well, we have 3 sets of 4-drops, but we have the Gohan and the Gotenks. Gohan's just going to help with your control. Gotenks is able to bring combo power back to your hand. Now, I picked the Gohan over the new Gotenks for set 4, purely because I believe this Gohan is just better, especially if you're playing it off Amazing Hidden Potential, which you can play 1 Gotenks or Gohan from your drop. Now, it has to be 4 or less, and then you can choose up to 1 of your battle cards and reduce its cost by 1. So effectively, you can bottom deck a 4-drop and a 3-drop if you're comboing Amazing Hidden Potential with Gohan. That's kind of the idea there. But yeah, I do value this Gohan more than the new Gotenks, which is also a 4-drop. I think this card is a bit better. So that's why we're running with 2 of Gotenks. And then we have the 4 of this 4-drop Vegito, and then again the Secret Rare Vegito 4 of. This Vegito, along with the Secret Rare, is like the most important card for the Gohan deck. It has a hefty price though. It has a very hefty cost. It costs 2 energy, and you have to discard the card from your hand. Place this card from your play to your drop, and then you can play your Secret Rare off from your drop straight onto the field. Now, when you pair this with Overwhelming Confidence, it means that you can play your Secret Rare on turn 5. This card places 3 cards from your deck to your drop. You draw 1 and then play a battle card with a cost of 4 or less and say in the special traits from your drop. So if you were able to discount Overwhelming Confidence with your Gohan lead when it's awakened, making this a 3-drop, you use this, you summon this, and then with the extra 2 energy that you have, because you're on 5 energy, you use this card's effects, discard 1, put this in the drop, you bring out Vegito on turn 5, and then if you have another Vegito, you bring that out on turn 6. And you kind of keep chaining it. Vegito himself, an amazing Secret Rare, is able to bounce any card to the hand for free, more or less. Activate main, once per turn, switch this card to active mode, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, return it to owner's hand, then place the top 5 cards from your deck to your drop. Well, in Fusion World, and I think this is a similar thing in many other card games, whether it's Legends of Runeterra, Yu-Gi-Oh, or whatever, when you run out of cards in your deck, when you're no longer able to draw from your deck on your turn, you automatically lose the game. However, Vegito has an effect specifically stating that you don't lose the game if you have 0 cards in your deck. And in fact, if you have 0 cards in your deck, this card gets 10k power and becomes a 50k that can swing twice, which is extremely strong. A double 50k swing, that's the biggest swing in the game so far, right? Broly only goes for 45. But the downside of it is that if it does leave the field and you don't have another one with it and you have no cards in your deck, you effectively lost. And that's why I kind of designed a 60 card deck at first, so that you don't run out of cards too quickly. But then you have the whole issue with making it 60 cards means that a lot of these cards become a lot more inconsistent to draw, and you're more likely to brick your hand compared to with the 50 card deck. Running Videl's super combo, you can run any of them, I don't think it really matters. Galactic Donut, now, I think this card is an amazing card. I think it's amazing. You know what this card does? Basically, it allows you to draw 2, and you can lock any card for a turn. It doesn't have to be in rest mode. There's no cost restriction. This card literally says draw 2 and lock a card for a turn, which I think is amazing, even for 3 energy. With Gohan's ability, however, this becomes a 1 energy play, which is stupidly strong, similar to the energy absorption that Yellow has. I think the problem but despite how good I think this card is, a lot of the time, using your leader ability to get this off, it doesn't seem to impact the board the way you would expect it to, kind of. It doesn't seem to do much in terms of stabilizing your board, so to speak. And plus, it's blue, so blue has a way to deal with cards. Obviously, this helps deal with like bigger cards in the late game. Now, obviously, if you're going into the late game and you need to lock down like a Broly or a... what else? Any big card, right? Double Strike Androids, UI Goku, the Secret Rare for red. This card's going to be great at locking those cards down later on into the game. Early on, I don't really think you'll play this card, even if you're awakened. So yeah, I like the card. I think the only deck you can play this in is in Gohan's deck. Maybe Zamasu could play this card. Maybe. I haven't tested Zamasu at all, so it'll be hard to say, but it's possible. But yeah, that's the list for Gohan. I like the deck concepts behind Gohan, the mill strategy. I've played it in other card games. I think it's a fun concept. I think Gohan is just missing cards that make his whole engine work. Right? It's like a discard deck, but you're not really discarding, so to speak. Now, whether or not you want to awaken early, I guess you do with Gohan. I think ultimately with Gohan, you want to awaken by turn 5, so that you can run your overwhelming confidence into Vegeta play. I think that's the ideal time you want to awaken. I think one of the problems this deck and this leader runs into is that the effects you need to discard one all the time. You're never gonna have like a good hand size because of the fact that you're constantly want to discard and put them in your drop. And this deck particularly doesn't have many cards that go from deck to drop. It's mostly from your hand to your drop. Okay, next is Buu. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this was probably one of my favorite decks to test. Oh my days. Super Buu is such a good deck. It's so crazy how good this deck is. I've never been a fan of playing yellow until Buu came out. So starting off with the lead, if you don't know, obviously it's a standard lead, flips at 4. And then once you flip into Super Buu or Buu tanks, you draw 1 on attack. Once per turn, if you destroy a marginal evil wizard, you can either switch this card to active mode, or you can untap one of your energy. It's a great effect for what you want to do in this deck. Starting off our 1-drops, running Bibidi, which is our searcher for this deck. Searches for any 4-cost or lower margin card, which obviously almost all of our cards are, outside of this blue Goku. We're running Yamu, full set. We're running a full set of Evil Buu. It's a 2-cost 30k attacker, 10k combo, which will KO itself at the end of battle, which isn't that bad, based on the fact that it will trigger your leader's ability. It's not that bad because in the late game you could play this swing, trigger your leader ability to either untap your leader or untap an energy to bring out another card. So yeah, it's a good card. It's a good card overall. We're actually running a full set of this Frieza, second form Frieza. This is your self-awakener for the deck. I think it's important that you awaken as soon as you can. And this Frieza is going to help you do that. And it can untap any like cantrips that you can then swing into if you want to with your leader. So yeah, this card was great in set 1 for the Frieza deck. And I actually think it's going to do well in the Buu deck. If there is, or if later on down the line, we get like a cheap self-awakener 2-drop for, which is margin, it will instantly replace this card. But I think for now, this is the best self-awakener we have. I believe. If there's a better one, let me know. And it's the fact that it can repeat itself multiple times. It's not an on-play effect, it's a when attacking effect. So you can self-awaken multiple times throughout the game. We've got 2 copies of the SR Buu from set 3. This honestly could get cut. It really could get cut. That's how good the Buu cards are. I could probably find another 3-drop to replace this. But for now, we're running 2. We've got 2 of this Majin Buu. I haven't been too fond of this card. So we've got 3 of this card. I haven't been too fond on it. Once per turn, KO a battle card. This card becomes a 35k for the turn, which is good. But I think it's the worst 3-drop margin card that's in this deck. And you'll see when I explain the other ones. First of all, we have this 3-drop Babidi. Amazing card. On play, you can play another margin card, which is 3 or less, from your hand to the playing area, which is great. And almost all the 3-drop margins that you're going to play, KO cards. And when this card is KO'd, if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, they have to discard a card from their hand. Now, they do get to pick, it's not random, but being able to reduce your opponent's hand size whilst being an aggro deck is incredible. It makes it so difficult for your opponent to actually defend their own life. The 3-drops most likely you're going to play is the SR, this SR is great. KO one of your battle cards and you draw 1. Then if your opponent has 6 or more cards in their hand, your opponent has to discard a card. So if for whatever reason you're able to play on turn 3 with 3 energy, you play Babidi into Evil Buu, and let's say your opponent has 7 cards in hand, they are now at 5 cards. And you haven't even swung into their lead yet. Right, that's insane. Trying to defend with a 5-card hand is tough. It's so tough. It's like you're critting your opponent, right? They're getting rid of cards that they never got to utilize to defend with in the first place. It's almost like critting your opponent. and keeping their hands low. The other 3-drop you could run, which I think is better than the 3-drop Margin Buu, that's a 35k, is this one, which I'm going to call Buff Buu. I don't know why they call this Kid Buu. I'm going to call it Buff Buu. But yeah, 3 energy, 30k power. Now, the turn you play it, this card can swing twice. Activate main once per turn, KO one of your battle cards. If your leader has margin in its special traits, switch this card to active mode. But it has a permanent effect that you can't switch this to active mode during your charge phase. So what that means is the turn you play this, you will swing for 30k, you activate the effect, KO a card, swing again for 30k, but then the following turn, if this card is still on the field, it won't untap itself when it's your turn. You'll have to manually untap it using its ability, using its activate main. But obviously that means you can only swing the one time, right? So its strongest turn is the turn you play it. But yeah, I think I much rather value 2 30k swings compared to one 35k swing. So I think this is the worst of the 3-drop margins you will play. I think you're either going to play Super Gohan or you're going to play Buff Buu. Next we have Goku. This is one of our only real lockdowns in this deck. Being able to lock any rest mode cards that we want effectively twice, once on play, once while attacking. Some people may want to play Margin Vegeta, the 4-drop Margin Vegeta, which isn't bad because that card can swing twice. But as far as controlling the board is concerned, it doesn't do it that well. It can only get rid of cards that are 2-drop or less. Maybe that's okay, maybe that's good enough. I haven't really tested it. Maybe Margin Vegeta is a better option. For this one, just for a little bit of control, I've added the Goku. It's a 10k combo as well, which is great. So yeah, that's that. We're running 3 copies of the Kid Buu, Double Striker. This card is amazing. When you play it, you get to play another Margin or Evil Wizards which cost 4 or less. So if you can imagine, you play this on turn 5, or with 5 energy. On play, you play Babidi. Babidi's effect plays either your Buhan or your Buff Buu, which will allow you to get rid of cards from your opponent's hand as long as they're above, as long as they have 6 or more in their hand. And then what you effectively have, for example, if you were to use Buff Buu, you have 2 30k swings with Buff Buu, a double strike with this card here, this Kid Buu. And because you destroyed an Evil Wizard, your leader's effects will allow you to either untap an energy or untap itself, and you have an additional 20k swing there as well. So you literally in one turn have, for 5 energy, you've been able to swing 5 times. Twice with your lead, twice with Buff Buu, and then your double striker. That's crazy. To swing at your leader 5 times in a single turn, whilst also reducing the hand size, is crazy powerful. And then we finish up with our super combo, which is Bibidi. We have 3 copies of Energy Absorption and 3 copies of Final Explosion. Honestly, Final Explosion could go down to 2. During testing, I never really find opportunities to use this card. So yeah, this could go down to 2. I'm not sure, maybe 3, because in the Jiren matchup, I haven't tested this against Jiren, but I feel like it's necessary to have 3 because of the Jiren matchup. So as soon as you hit 6 energy, you can double play Final Explosion and kind of get rid of Jiren fairly effectively. It's not the best answer to Jiren, but yellow doesn't really have an answer to Jiren like that. So yeah, that's an idea. But yeah, I think this deck is so strong. It's such a strong deck. An aggro deck that limits your opponent's hand size is, yeah, ridiculous. There's actually a quick combo I want to show you guys with this deck. Now, if you've noticed with Butenx's ability, he's only allowed to draw from his attack once a turn. It's written this way purely because of his ability here, which allows it to untap your leader. Now, a trick you could do is if you're at 4 life and you're still on your front side and it's your turn, you could swing with your front side and then flip during the attack. That will draw you 2 cards. And you will swing for 20k because you flipped to Butenx. And then during that same turn, if you're able to play, for example, your Babidi into Buu combo, which would untap your Awakened Buu, and then you swing again with your leader, you actually still get the draw effect. The limitation on once per turn didn't count the swing you did with your front side. It only accounts for your back side. That sounds wrong in so many ways. Your flip side, I'm saying flip side from now on. Your flip side. So yeah, swing with your front side. That sounds wrong as well. I can't make this not sound wrong. Swing with your unawakened side, draw one, flip, draw another, and then once you activate the condition of your awakened side, you can then swing again and you can draw a third card from the effect. So that's the kind of a trick you can do to draw multiple cards. At least it only works for that one turn where you can do that, but it is a nice trick to kind of boost up your hand size. So yeah, bear that in mind. But yeah, this is the blue deck. This is probably one of the decks that I think is close to completion. It is crazy strong, it's unbelievable. But yeah, that's that one. Okay, next we have Vegeta for green. Now, testing this deck, I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't think it's the strongest deck out there, but I do think it's a fun deck. I think it's a good deck. I just don't think it's a great deck, at least not yet. Now, this is my version. We're running a full set of childhood Gohan. Almost every card in this list is a Saiyan, outside of Bulma, Roshi, and I think there's one more. No, that's it. Apart from Bulma and Roshi, every card here is a Saiyan. Obviously, we're not accounting for things that are cost 5 or more, because Gohan can only look for a card that has Saiyan in its traits that cost 5 or less. So anything 6 and up won't work, which is only your super combo and this Great Ape Vegeta. So most of your deck Gohan can search for. So yeah, great card to add. Full set of, no, sorry, we're running 2 Bulma for draw. That might change, I'm not too sure. We're running Roshi. It's a self-awakener, which you will need in this deck. You want to awaken as soon as possible. And you can get rid of a 1-drop. For example, like a Whis or any like cantrip. This allows you to just get rid of that. So I think it's quite good. It's a shame I couldn't find a way to add a card to like get rid of 2 drops consistently early on in the deck, but it is what it is, because I feel like the Trunks I mentioned for black is going to be so strong in set 4, and having ways to deal with it is really important. But for our 3 drops, this is normally in order, but it's not this time. We have 2 copies of Kaioken Goku. When attacking, if it battles a card 4 or more, it becomes a 50k for that attack, and you place 1 card from your energy into this drop, and then at the end of the turn, this will go into your energy in rest mode, and you get to draw a card. It's a good card. I don't think it's a vital card to the deck. That's why I'm only running 2 of it. In my testing, it has not been important. It's not been an important piece to kind of winning games. It's just it's a nice, you know, it's a niche card that in certain situations you will actually want to use, but not all the time. It does mean you can swing into almost any 4-drop and will probably require, for most 4-drops, if not all of them, will require a super combo +1 to keep safe. Obviously, Jiren can protect itself for 1 turn, but yeah, that's so your Secret Rare Goku, the 4-drop Gohan, cards like those. This card is literally asking for super combo +1. I think there might be a couple 4-drops that are 35Ks, so super combo will be enough to save it. But yeah, it's a niche card. It's not imperative to the deck. We have Nappa, full set. This card is a must-have. You need 4 of these for your Vegeta deck. On play, choose one. Either add 1 card from your life to your energy in rest mode, or if there's no Vegeta battle card, this card can't attack for the turn. A 30k swing on turn 3. It's great for applying pressure. Late game, once you've awoken, you want to make sure you have a Vegeta on the field, because you don't want to add any more cards from your life to your energy. To do that, we have 2 different Vegetas. The first one is this Vegeta here. 10k combo, 20k power. On play, discard 1 card from your hand, look for the top 10 cards of your deck, and look for Artificial Full Moon, which is the new field card introduced in set 4, which allows you to replace energy that you use through things like your leader ability. Which, by the way, if you don't know, by placing 1 of your energy into your drop, if you have 4 less energy, after you use this effect, you can play up to 1 Saiyan only battle card with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. Okay, so that includes Nappa, Goku, Vegeta. This Vegeta, which is the other one that you can play with Nappa. This is the vanilla one. Great, 3 cost, 25k power, 10k combo. Is also a great, solid card. And if you have this on the field, it means that, and you're awake and you're already on your flip side, Nappa can attack freely without needing to pick the effect to add to self-awaken, should I say. So that's that. The other 3 drops we have is we're running 3 of this Nappa. This Nappa is purely for getting rid of field cards. And it has to be 2 costs or less, I should add. So cards like Artificial Full Moon, cards like Tournament of Power Arena, there's a couple of field spells in yellow, like Frieza Spaceship. Is it Frieza Spaceship? Or is it Babidi Spaceship? I can't remember. But I believe that yellow has a couple of field cards that are 2 costs. There are a lot more field cards being played now than there used to be. Blue has the Orange Star High School field card, which this also works against. So I think this card is going to be actually quite good. There are a lot more field cards being played, cheap field cards being played, that this card is going to be very effective against. So we're running 3 of. And then we're running a full set of Raditz, which is a great recycler for this deck. On play, if you place the energy into your drop, you can add 1 Saiyan only battle card that isn't Raditz that costs 3 or less from the drop to your hand. So you can recycle your Nappas, your Vegeta, your Goku, any of those is fine. Now the last piece to this combo is actually Gohan. One of my most popular videos is, my best performing video on this channel was the Piccolo deck. In that deck, I played kind of like it was a 3-cost deck. Gohan is great at protecting your 3 costs. It means that your opponent can't remove them from the field whilst this is on the field. And at the end of every turn, you can either play a new 3-cost or get rid of a card 3 cost or below. I think this is probably one of the most important cards for the Vegeta deck. I've seen other creators make Vegeta decks without this card. I think you really need this card. You really need this card in this deck to protect your 3 drops so you can keep up the pressure. At least that's how I see it. And this is one of the few cards that green can actually play to consistently get rid of any card 3 that costs 3 or less. That includes the Trunks for black, the Gohan, the SR Gohan for red, and many other cards that you can get rid of thanks to this card's effect. We finish out our deck with 3 copies of Grade 8 Vegeta. This is a great card. Place 1 card from your energy into your drop. If his leader is Saiyan, if your leader has Saiyan special traits, you can KO a card that costs 5 You can KO a card that costs 5 or less. We also have Super Combo Vegeta. We're running a full set of Artificial Full Moon, which is our field. And then we're running 2 copies of a Warm Greeting. This could go up to 3. This card is great. In fact, every green deck should play this card. This deals with Jiren single-handedly. This deals with the yellow 3-drop Vegeta, which has always been a problem for green, because there's no way to get rid of it unless you attack into it. This solves that problem. And it replaces itself. You draw 1, choose a card 4 or less, add it to the owner's energy in rest mode. I think this is a great card. This might become a 3 of. The other card we're playing is Invasion of the Saiyans, which allows us kind of a late game card, kind of a finisher, because we may not always want to rely on the double strike and instead go wide, and this card allows us to go wide by playing 2 Saiyan only battle cards from our energy that cost 3 or less. So I do like this card. Maybe this becomes a 1-of, maybe. I mean, for now, it's staying at 2. But yeah, this is the list. Now, some things to bear in mind. The idea to play in this deck is you always want to be at 5 energy. Always. 5 energy is like, it's kind of like the key number for this deck. Now, once you have 5 energy, if you're playing this particular deck, you don't charge any more energy unless you don't charge to 6 unless you're going to play Great Vegeta that turn. Because once you play Great Vegeta, if you do decide to play Great Vegeta, you will charge to 6, you'll play Vegeta, Vegeta will take an energy into your drop, bringing you back down to 5, and then if your leader is flipped, you can place another energy into your drop, bringing you down to 4 to activate its ability, and if you have the field on, the field at the end of the turn will bring you back up to 5, so you're at 5 again. If you don't plan to play Great Vegeta that turn, you just stay at 5 and not charge. You just don't charge and stay at 5. You will use your leader to go back down to 4, to play a Saiyan card. Artificial Full Moon will bring you back up to 5. So you always want to play around 5. 5 is like the ideal energy zone to be at. At 5 energy, you can play, for example, on a turn, if you were to go to 5 energy on that turn, you play Gohan for 5. You then, if you're flips that is, use your leader ability to go down to 4. Now the leader doesn't say active energy, it just says energy, so the energy can be in rest mode when you use it. So if Vegeta brings you back down to 4, you play a Saiyan. You then do your attacks or whatever you need to do. At the end of the turn, Artificial Full Moon, if you have it, will bring you back up to 5. Gohan can actually play a new 3-drop from your hand, or get rid of a 3-drop or less on the field. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. But I think this deck is actually quite fun. Maybe once optimized, it will actually be like a contender for one of the better decks in the game. I'm not sure. I'll still give the best deck, or the best green deck, to Androids. I think Androids somehow is still one of the best decks in the format. But yeah, this is my Vegeta deck. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, next we have Baby. Now, this is another deck that I kind of struggled a bit to optimize. Honestly, I didn't get as much testing with this one as I did the other decks. And I'll do more before the set comes out to kind of finalize this deck. This deck is 51 cards. All the other ones I've shown have been 50. This was actually 51. I mean, starting off with the leader, if you're not aware, once you flip, Super Baby 2 allows you to essentially combo with cards that are in rest mode, which is great for what this deck wants to do. So you've got a cantrip, Goku. We're running Baby Possessed. If you use this card in a combo and your leader has Machine Mutants, play one battle card 2 or less and Brainwashing special traits, or one Baby Vegeta with a cost of 2 or less. If we'll mostly use this for the first effect, it will allow us to cheat out one of our 2-drop Brainwash cards early, so we can use it on turn 2. That's basically what Baby's for. The 2 drops in question, Trunks, probably the best of the Brainwash 2 drops. This card, if you combo with it, you can add 2 Brainwash cards or Machine Mutants that cost 4 or less from your drop to your hand. So it just recycles cards for you, so you can just keep comboing. Yeah, this card is, it's amazing. You can't get another Trunks from your drop, but I think that's fair. I think cards being able to recycle themselves is not great, and that's why I'm surprised Pilaf hasn't been banned or reworked or something. But regardless, we have Bulla. Bulla essentially is what's going to generate our energy marker. It's a self-awakener, and then when you combo, you get an energy marker. So it kind of means that you don't really need to play Kakarot, the 1-drop Kakarot that was in the starter deck with Bardock. You could use Baby, combo, bring out Bulla. Next turn you play a card, combo Bulla, you get a marker. So it kind of meets the same breakpoints as any of the other black decks would in terms of getting your energy marker on time. The other one we're using is Goten. This is essentially what Pan was doing. When you combo with it, you can send a 4-drop back to the hand. It's basically what Pan was doing in other black decks. So yeah, Goten is kind of replacing Pan in this particular deck with the Baby leader. And then we have the Trunks. Now this is the Trunks I was referring to in my previous decks. This Trunks is Self-Awakener, 2-drop, which effectively protects every other black card as long as this card is on the field. So if you think about the Gohan I showed you in the green deck, Gohan protects 3 drops and only 3 drops. This protects anything that isn't a Trunks GT. And if a time ever comes where we have dual leaders, this Trunks will protect those cards as well, even if they're not in black. Because the only requirement is that it's not Trunks GT. So yeah, this card I think is going to be crazy good. It's a future-proof card, right? No matter what changes happen down the line, I think this card will probably always be played. So yeah, Trunks, great card. And I think every deck needs to find a way to be able to remove this as soon as possible. I'll get to the Machine Mutants in a bit. We have the SR Baby, Super Baby 1. This is essentially your engine for Baby. Personally, I'm not the greatest fan of this card. I think Bardock is just better. The 3-drop Bardock that we got last set. But if you don't know, basically on play, when you play this, you're able to play a 2-drop or less Brainwash or Machine Mutant card. And then when you combo this card specifically, you get to draw 1. That's the part I don't like about this card. The fact that you have to combo onto this card, which in turn makes this card vulnerable to being attacked into. If you combo with a Brainwash card in general, I don't like the fact that this card is putting itself in harm's way. At least Bardock, it puts itself in harm's way, but if your opponent tries to swing into this, you could combo a card and put Bardock to active, and you draw 1 again, which kind of protects it from any future attacks. Obviously, removal is still removal, but with this one, you can still combo and draw 1 if your opponent attacks into it, but it won't be in rest mode, so you just have to get another card to swing into it again. And it's only a 20k, so it's very easy to just put pressure on it. So yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this card, but I do think it's necessary for the Baby deck. It's one of the few ways you can draw cards. So yeah, that's baby. We're running the 4-drop Grade 8 baby. I believe it's 2 of. Yeah, we're running 2 of. On play a battle card with 2 or less from your hand. And when attacking, choose up to one of your battle cards that cost 3 or less and place it into its owner's combo area. Sorry, not one of your battle cards, just a battle card. When attacking, choose up to one battle card with cost of 3 or less and place it in its owner's drop combo area. This could be one of your battle cards, it could be one of their battle cards, which is great. If they have like a powerful 3-drop, or even in the mirror match against this Gohan, and this Trunks rather, the 2-cost Trunks, you can force your opponent to combo this card. And it's a 0 is it a 0 combo or 5? Oh, this one's a 5. But if it was a card that had like a 0 combo, you could literally get rid of it for free. If this works on 4 drops, it'd be insane. I think when I first read this, I thought it was 4 or less. And I was like, yeah, Jiren is not gonna run. I don't like Jiren at all. I don't like the deck. That card just annoys the hell out of me. So anytime I see a card that can counter that Jiren, I'll just get it. It brings just pure elation to my spirit. It basically allows you to play 6 energy worth of cards for 4, because you get that extra 2-drop, which is great. And because all these cards combo off of each other, that just adds even more value to a card like this. This could go up to 3, honestly. This could definitely go up to 3. We're running our super combo, which is Bulla. Any of the super combos is fine. It doesn't make a difference. 2 of the Bardock double striker. As of when set 4 starts, there's only 2 double strikers for black, which is this one and the new GT Goku for set 4. Obviously, GT Goku only works in GT Goku's deck. So Bardock is going to be the double striker we choose. Obviously, a lot of these like brainwash cards and stuff, if you combo into it, have additional effects anyway. So it's not that bad in this deck compared to when it was in Bardock's deck or Goku's deck, where you have to kind of get rid of your hand size to do some of these effects. But yeah, that's our double striker. This could go up as well. I like it at 2 for now. Also running 3 of Tensa's Kamehameha. Great extra card for black. With an energy marker, you just simply remove 2 3-drop or less. I think it's just a great effect. I'm running 3 of because you can't. This deck doesn't really have room to play Hercule. Hercule will be a great way to recycle this card. I don't think this deck has the room to play it. Maybe I'm wrong, but this version I don't have that Hercule card, and so I'm running 3 of this card rather than like 2 of it, because you really want to be able to see this card early and be able to get rid of any early pressure that you may come across. And now we have the Machine Mutant cards. General Rodo. It's a chain, right? So you go from 2 to 3 to 4. Starts with General Rodo, a Self Awakener. When you combo, if you have Hyper Metal Rodo, you play that card. And then this card on play takes a 3 cost or less and returns it to the hand. And then when you combo with this card, you can get Metal Rodo, which is a blocker, but you don't really use it for the blocker ability. It's just a 40k swing. So if you have one card, so you can imagine a combo where you swing with Metal Rodo. Sorry, not Metal Rodo, General Rodo. You combo General Rodo, and you're able to get Hyper Metal Rodo. You swing with Hyper Metal Rodo for 25. If you're able to combo it with either your leader or another battle card, you bring out Metal Rodo, and then you can swing for 30. So it's literally 3 swings in one turn, more or less, right? With your leader, you really need just your leader and one more battle card, I think, to get all of these to work. I think. I might be wrong. But yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. So yeah, that's a lot of pressure that you can put on the field in one go. This is the version I want to test out. We're running a full set of each of the Rodos. Other Machine Mutants you might want to consider playing, Dr. Mew. It's great. It's a way to replace your energy marker. You do have to discard the card, but Machine Mutants actually don't mind that. There is a group of cards, I believe was it Super Sigma, and there's cards that support it. And Super Sigma KOs itself if there's not enough Machine Mutants in your drop. That Dr. Mew will actually help with that because you can use it to discard those Machine Mutants whilst gaining the energy marker in the process. So yeah, there might be some value there. I'm not running Super Sigma or Dr. Mew in this one, but there's probably a deck you could make using more Machine Mutants in the deck. So yeah, that's our black deck, our Super Baby 2 deck. Again, let me know what you think of it, what changes you would make, all of that good stuff. Lastly, we have Goku. Daima Goku Mini, which I'll probably just call Daima Goku from now on. Now, or Minikyu, one of the two, I don't know. I believe this card or this leader is actually quite good. It's kind of taken Beerus and the starter Q into one leader. So if you didn't know, on the flip side, on bat during activate main, you can choose one of your battle cards, make it a 5k, and then minus 5k from one of your opponent's cards, creating this 10k swing, which is really good. It's just a really good effect. I think it's better. This will be a better leader than Beerus specifically because of the crit. Beerus being the crit leader kind of hurts it a bit because it can't draw early. This card can draw early and still has a very similar effect to Beerus. We're running 4 copies of Shin again because this card is just insane. Cantrip Piccolo, Whis, other Universe 7, we've got Gohan again, we've got Vegeta, and we have the Secret Rare plus Son Goku, which we're playing 3 of each, just like we did in the UI Goku deck. And then Whis is our super combo again, searchable off of our Shin. I've reduced Caulifla in this deck to 2, and we're running 4 of the Goku Daima Mini. This card is actually quite good when it comes to early pressure. For 2 energy, you swing for 20. It's a 10k combo as well. On play, you add a card from your life to your hand, so it's a Self-Awakener. If you're awakened, this becomes a 30k swing. Now, the Self-Awaken ability on this card isn't like most that we've seen. You don't get to decide if you want to Self-Awaken or not. Once you play this card, you will Self-Awaken. So if you're already at 4 life and you've awakened and you play this card, you will go down to 3 life. So ultimately, you want to play this card early before you Self-Awaken. You can't play this card after you Self-Awaken. It will just be detrimental. However, what's great about the card is that even if you can't play it, let's say you've awakened and you can no longer play this card, it is a 10k combo, which is at least is great in that sense. We've got 2 Cauliflas. Again, it's still a good 2-drop. Maybe these get cut, and this is Mini Q is the only Self-Awakener along with Gohan. We play something else, haven't quite decided yet. This is another 50 card deck, by the way. We're running Catapazla, 4 of. It's a great card overall. And we're playing 4 of Shin. Now, what you could do in this particular deck, if you have Shin and Catapazla on the board, you can use your leader ability to make Catapazla 25k. So, Catapazla on play will minus a card 5k. You make it a 25k. When you swing, his ability will minus another 5k. And if you have Shin on the board, Shin will also take off another 5k. So you've already minus a card down 15k power off that alone. And then when Shin swings, you minus another 5k. So you've minus 20k worth of power. So it's actually quite a potent combo once you get your leader ability up and running. We're running the 1 of Kefla. Kefla's still a great card. Even though it's limited to 1, you always want to play 1 if you can in every red deck. You can use it to summon Gohan, Catapazla, or Vegeta, I believe. Yeah, and Vegeta as well. So yeah, just good. 3 of Rumshi. Great for getting rid of those big bodies. I mentioned before, 3 of the Double Strike and Secret Rare. These numbers could change. This is just kind of like a baseline. Like I said, all these decks are kind of like initial drafts and aren't the final version. Got a 4th super combo. We're running 2 of Power Pole in this one. Which on battle, your cards that in battle get 15k power. Then choose out one of your opponent's battle cards and minus 10k for the turn. It is only on your turn, but I think this is still a great card to play. Again, this creates what, a 25k swing, which is really good. Similar to how your leader creates a 10k swing. Yeah, I think it's just a good card. It might get cut, but for now we're playing 2 of, and then we're playing 2 of God Kamehameha to help deal with any big bodies that we want to get rid of. For example, for 5 energy, you could go Gohan into God Kamehameha. And if we get our opponent down, because we're quite an aggro deck, so to speak, with control, I guess, in there as well. So if we want to get our opponent down to 2 life to get ready for Goku, or if we get them down to 1 life and want to end the game, this Vegeta is going to be the one to do it. You'll discard 2 cards, like 2 cantrips, or 2 0 combos, or whichever. Make this a 50k, and then you get to KO your cards with 25k power or less. So yeah, overall good card. If your opponent doesn't have the Trunks GT for black, you could play Vegeta, use your leader ability to make this 25k or 55k, whichever. You can minus their secret rare Goku to 25k, which then allows you to KO the Goku with this Vegeta's effect. So yeah, not much to say because I already explained most of these cards in the UI version. So yeah, that's the Goku Daima deck. Now, two things to quickly mention. Baby, some people may wonder why I didn't add GT Goku to this list. I thought this might be stronger. I haven't tested both ways, right? It's possible you take out some of the Machine Mutant package and add some GT cards like the Secret Rare Goku to help keep your engine running. This is just the deck I wanted to try out first. This is more aggro based. This is the one I want to try out first. If it turns out that Secret Rare Goku is better overall, then I'll switch to that. But yeah, this is the version that I just happened to make. But you could, if you have the GT Gokus, you could run GT Goku. Now, the last thing you may notice is that I haven't mentioned the Daima Vegeta deck. There's a couple of reasons for that. Okay, so Vegeta. On his flip side, for 1 energy, you can bottom deck any 1-drop. Any card that costs 1, you can bottom deck it. Now, my initial idea for building a deck like this is literally a deck with a bunch of blue cards that minus your opponent's cost. Things like the SR Vegito, the 3-drop. Maybe even the Hercule for Saiyan City, probably not, because you're not going to run a lot of Saiyan City cards. But cards such as those to help minus your opponent's cost, and then being able to use this card to bounce it. And the more I built this deck, the more I realized it's literally like playing Starter Vegeta in set 3. I'm going to go into my client now and show you my Starter Vegeta deck. It's not the most optimal, but just to give you an idea of what that would look like. Okay, so this is the Vegeta list that I made in set 3. Obviously, a lot of things have changed. This deck will probably change, but a lot of these cards you're going to play. You're going to play a full set of Mai. You're going to play a full set of the Vegito. You will play Goten, 4 of, because of the 2-drop trunks in black you want to get rid of, so you want 4 of. You'll run Pilaf. You probably won't run Bulma. Maybe you will, actually. Because Bulma still works off your Daima Vegeta, so maybe you will still run Bulma. Pan will still be ran, Trunks, your Double Striker. A lot of these cards you're probably going to keep running. And so effectively, you're making a Starter Vegeta deck just with Daima Vegeta in its place. I also only have 1 Vegito Blue because I only have 1 of the Secret Rare. I wasn't fortunate enough to get multiple copies of this. But yeah, that's basically what you're doing. You're taking Starter Vegeta's deck and replacing it with Daima Vegeta. And honestly, Starter Vegeta is a much better leader, in my opinion. It's a much better leader. Starter Vegeta is one of the best decks of set 3, along with like Android 17. It was one of the strongest decks. And it hasn't gotten any weaker. I don't know if it's gotten stronger, but it definitely hasn't gotten weaker. Maybe you can say it's gotten stronger because now we have the 6-drop Vegito Secret Rare. But yeah, it's still pretty much at the same power level. So if you're going to play a blue deck with like minusing the cost of opponent's cards, just play Starter Vegeta. That's my honest opinion on that. So yeah, that's why I haven't made a Daima Vegeta deck. Because the more I made it, the more I realized it's literally just a Starter Vegeta deck that I already had. So yeah, that is the end of the video. Those were all the decks for the new leaders in set 4, obviously apart from Daima Vegeta. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, guys, let me know what you think. I mean, if you guys have done some testing and you found better options for some of these lists that I provided, let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to read them. Obviously, when the game does come to digital version on the 15th, which is a Friday, I will make a summon video, which will come out either on the Friday. I have work, so I'm not sure, either on Friday or Saturday. And then we'll be testing out all the new leaders. We'll do updated deck profiles for all the existing leaders. Maybe enter a couple of online tournaments or 2. I'm hoping that the Eggman is going to do another tournament. If you haven't seen that video, I think it was 7th in his last one for set 3. So if he does another one, I'll probably enter that as well. See what I can do. But yeah, that's all I have for you for this video. Again, let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoy. Consider leaving a like, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next video, which will probably be when the set 4 cards actually come to digital client. That'll probably be the next time you see a video from me. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, guys. Peace.